Good morning. Hi YouTubers. How are you? I hope that you're having a blessed Tuesday and just a blessed week so far. God keeps putting it on my heart to tell my story about how my sixth child came about. And I was fighting with it. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. And every time I tell the story, um, it sounds crazy to me. And I know most people would be like, what the hell were you thinking? Um, I spent a lot of my life looking for love in the wrong places. Broken as a child, the so much the lack of love, um, to where it has caused me to be bound in some areas of my life. Um, and so let me just get to it. Uh, so I would say June 25th. June 25th, 2017. Um, at this time and by this date, I was completely feeling myself. I had lost over 60 pounds, skin brighter, hair growing. Um, Life was amazing. Besides me getting laid off from my job. At first it hurt, but at the end of it, when I really thought about it, I was gaining freedom in my life. And sometimes we don't do what we're supposed to do with that time. So I'm lollygagging one night on the 25th. I'm drinking, I'm smoking, I'm feeling myself. And I say about 11:30 p.m. my Facebook crush video messages me. So I didn't answer it. I got scared at first and I didn't answer it. And I was like, maybe he made a mistake. Maybe he didn't mean to call me. And then after it hung up, of course, he called back again. So we're chatting and stuff like that. And he like, oh, let me come through. He like, you look like you feeling good. Let me come through. You know, let's smoke. Let's match a blunt. Now, I have always been in this place where, I don't let men come to my house. I don't know who you are, um, like that, or whatever the case may be. Now, we have been flirting and stuff for about 2 years, going back and forth with the emojis, going back and forth with the pictures, and all this other type of stuff. But I didn't know him personally. But at the time, I, I was in need of so much physically. Like, looking for love, hoping somebody would see me, hoping somebody would fall in love with me. All these things, I have been putting out to the into the universe. Now, the universe, God hears you, and also evil forces hear you or whatever. So, I feel like the enemy knew exactly what I needed, and he brought it to me in this gift box with a pretty little bow on it. And so yeah, so he came over, and my kids were gone for the weekend or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, it's just me up in here, you know. It's just me up in here. So let's see what's gonna happen or whatever. So he came, we kicked it, we chatted about our life. We stayed up till about 5, 6 in the morning and just went back and forth about our life and what we've been through and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, like, this is a really cool dude or whatever. So, of course, we're intoxicated. So, your demons be speaking to you louder than the angels, okay? So, we're speaking back and forth. Um, about our life and stuff like that. So he asked to take a shower. Now this man had a towel and he went and took a shower. Um, Mind you, I didn't catch it then, but I'm catching it now as I keep going over the story. Um, he also was like giggling when he first came in, like, I just got a box of condoms for $5 at the store from a crackhead, and I'm like, what? And it was a big old box of condoms or whatever the case may be, but I let it go over my head. So again, he asked could he take a shower. I'm like, sure, you know what I'm saying, take a shower, get you some rest. So I have this big chair in my room, where I sit and I write and stuff. That's where he was sitting. So when he got out the shower, um, he dried off and he was talking to me, and I had just smoked a cigarette. So he was like, ugh, you smoke cigarettes? I'm like, yeah. And he was like, I hate cigarettes. So immediately I put it out, and immediately I had made up in my mind that, I'm really feeling this cat. If he don't like cigarettes, I ain't gonna smoke it. I'm already altering myself. Although it was a positive change, I'm already altering myself to get and keep this man's attention. So he sits in the big chair, and I'm tired, so I lay down in my bed, and he just looks so uncomfortable in the chair trying to sleep, his high off or whatever the case may be. So I'm like, you can get in the bed. I'm like, you can get in the bed. I'm like, I ain't worried about you. You can get in the bed or whatever the case may be. So he like, you sure? He like, I don't want to, push up on you or nothing like that. I'm like, no, you can get in the bed. So he got in the bed. Ginger, you was already setting yourself up for some stuff, right? So he gets in the bed, and next thing I know, he starts massaging my back. And I mean, this man was about 5'9", and really, really built. And the moment he touched my back, I promise you, I fell in love, or deep, deep lust. And deep, deep lust is what it is. And I made a status on my Facebook. Um, the look of lust mistaken for love. So he massaging my back, and oh my God, I'm a single mom at the time. I'm a single mom of 5. So a massage, oh, I carry so much. So it was just like, oh my God, somebody is coming into my life, and they just know I need a massage. And after the massage, it was over. Okay, legs wide open. I'ma just be honest. And so the first time we used a condom or whatever the case may be, and when he got up and left, actually, I'm going too fast. So some girl called him on the phone or whatever, and he answered the phone, and he going back and forth with the girl, and he's like, I'm at my new girlfriend's house. And I'm looking like, okay, TMI, he asked me this during sex, but I was just like, you can't make that decision just off sex. Like, what do you mean? Like, let's get it in and go over that. So he telling her on the phone, like, I'm at my new girlfriend's house or whatever, and I can hear her in the background, like, my new girlfriend, your new girlfriend, like, what? She like, whatever, and she hung up. So he got up. I guess the box of condoms was too heavy to carry. So he gave me the condoms, and he was like, you can get this to your sons. Like, we don't need these. And I'm thinking, like, ain't it this one time or whatever the case may be? But I didn't say nothing. So he left for the day, and I'm just in la la land. My kids come back from the weekend, and I'm just like la 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 la, like sit on high, okay, like higher than a blunt could get me. I'm feeling myself, okay. I just got, my body has just got exactly what it needed, and I felt like I was recharged. So next thing I know, later on that night, he comes back. uninvited. He comes back with a few groceries. He got tissue rolls rolling down the driveway. And I'm like, what is this? And he like, dang, he like, you're a single mom or whatever the case may be. Like, let me help you out or whatever. Now, I'm not thinking this man might be possibly homeless or something like that, but I'm like, whatever. And my kids is looking at me like, who the hell is that? So I get with my kids. I have a close bond with my kids, and I tell them, I'm like, I don't know, this dude, I'm feeling him, you know what I'm saying? He gave me a couple of dollars, and he came through with groceries and stuff like that. And I'm like, if this ain't the real thing, I'm appreciating the help. So they let it go, but then again, they didn't let it go. They went on and they had their own conversations, especially my older three kids. They went and they had their own conversations. And when I tell you, they were completely against it, completely against this man. And I thought that they didn't want me happy, but in actuality, they were trying to protect me from the end of this story. They were trying to protect their mom. And I didn't see that. So fast forward, he just kept coming to my house. We kept having sex. We kept buying food. I'm cooking. I'm acting like I'm his wife. I'm leaving him love notes. And he just kept coming and collecting the love notes and all that other type of stuff. Next thing I know, he's pinning them up on the wall on his side of the bed and just all these things. And then maybe 2, 3 weeks later, he calls me and he like, babe, you gonna be mad. And I'm like, why? Mind you, this man had been acting like a knight of man in shining armor. The last time he called me and was like, babe, you gonna be mad? I'm like, what's up? He like, I'm going to the strip club. I'm like, oh, okay, like that doesn't bother me. That's not no big thing for me. Go ahead, go enjoy yourself. So he like, all right, but then when I turned around and hung up the phone, he's standing on the porch. So, just acting like a man in shining armor or whatever. So, um, he calls and he tells me, like, babe, you gonna be mad? And I'm like, what's up? And he like, I'm on my way to Vegas. He was like, I got some money out in Vegas. He like, it's popping out in Vegas or whatever the case may be. I'm about to go get this money. I'm about to go with my boys. Now he asks me, like, do I got anything at the house? I'm like, yeah, you got a few things here or whatever that you left, a pair of shoes and a couple pair of pants or whatever the case may be. I already washed it up. He like, dang, I need to come get my stuff, but that's all right. It can stay there. So he got in Vegas, and next thing I know, I seen a totally different man. I started seeing things for what it was. I mean, once the enemy got out my house and went to Vegas, I was like, I started seeing things for what the hell it was, and I didn't like nothing that was going on. I'm like, I'm fighting him. I'm like, you know what? You ain't good for me. He got to Vegas. He on Snapchat. He ain't got no shirt on. He finessing the bitches on social media or whatever the case may be. Like he popping. He putting money. He got mad kush. He on motorbikes, he working out, he doing all this stuff. He like living his best life in Vegas. So I'm like, wait. We found out that I was pregnant. I'm sorry. So we found out I was pregnant that third week or whatever the case may be. I'm like, and he had already told me that I was pregnant. He like, babe, you gonna be mad? And I'm like, what's up? He like, you gonna be mad? I'm like, what? That was his favorite line. Like, you just gonna be mad? And I'm like, what? He like, you done lost all that weight. He was like, and you've been doing this and your kids is older and stuff like that. And he was like, you popping or whatever. And you gonna be pregnant. Like we've been messing around with no condoms or whatever the case may be. He like you about to be pregnant. So I'm like, what are you talking about? So I get on my phone and I look at my days because I keep up with my period and all that other type of stuff and ovulation and blah blah blah. So I look at my days and I'm like, okay, we had sex the 25th, the 26th, the 27th. We didn't have sex the 28th. We had sex the 29th. Like, and all these days was ovulation time. So I'm going back and forth. Hello. So I'm going back and forth for whatever the case may be. And I'm like, nah, whatever. So my boobs start hurting. Right after he said it, I'm like, oh my God, my boobs is hurting or whatever the case may be. But I had nipple rings at these times. So I went and I took the nipple rings out, thinking that that was going to change something. And it didn't. I didn't even wait to make it to miss a period. I went and took a pregnancy test. And before I knew it, I took almost 12 pregnancy tests because I was completely in denial that I was pregnant. So he like, you ain't pregnant. I would know I'm sick. Next few days, he started being sick. He started being super sleepy, blah, 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 blah. So fast forward, he went to Vegas. And I don't know. We just found out that we was pregnant. I feel like you left me. I'm feeling like a 16, 17-year-old girl that done got pregnant and this dude has completely left or whatever. So I'm like, you a fraud, you this, you that. He going back and forth. He like, no, I'm gonna he like, I'm gonna make this money out here or whatever the case may be, and then you can move out here and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I'm not about to leave everything that I have done down here to go out there and live with you. Like, I can't leave my kids down here. Like, what are you talking about? He like, you can bring the kids too. Completely gaming me up, but I am glad that I did not go down that road, because before I knew it, we kept falling out, and I just was like, I don't want to do this no more, and basically broke up this relationship with him. So he's calling. I'm blocking him whenever I get mad. He's calling. He's like, I hope you don't keep me away from my baby. Then we find out it's a boy. He like, I hope you don't keep me away from my son. I'm like, I'm not that type of woman. We going back and back and back and forth, back and forth. Next thing I know, one day this fool, one in the middle of the night, about after midnight, he at my window. So he like, babe, you don't see me calling you or whatever. I'm like, oh, this nigga. So before I knew it, he comes back. He came back to my house. He's at my window. I tell my son, I'm like, Nino at the window. He won't go. He won't leave or whatever the case may be. So my son comes in from the gym, and by this time it's like 1:30 in the morning, and this fool's still sitting on the porch. I ain't let him in the house. I done gave him the stuff that I had in here. He asking me to touch my stomach. I'm like, no, don't touch me, just leave me alone. Completely have built up hate for this man in my heart. So my son's like, Nino not just outside, he got like 3 bags of clothes outside. So I'm like, what the, he telling me he waiting on his ride and all that other type of stuff. And before I knew it, it's 2, 3 in the morning. He still ain't left in front of my yard. My neighbors is outside. They neighborhood watch, so they trying to figure out why the hell this nigga is on the porch. Who is he and why he outside and looking suspicious and stuff. And before I knew it, he left his 3 bags on my porch. So a week went by, and then his mom brought him to come get his stuff. And so he's like standing there looking crazy. He gets his stuff or whatever. His mom like, you seem like a nice girl, and da da da. And he like, but she ain't messing with me or whatever case may be. I'm like, Nino, don't play me. Like, we don't want the same things. I feel like you lied to me or whatever the case may be. Like, we done. Like, I'm not even worried about it. We could just take care of the baby, blah blah blah, and go on about our business. Now he has already admitted in front of his mama that this was his child. Okay? I built up so much resentment against this man to where I didn't even look at me and my mistake like, oh, I let him in. It's my fault. You need to check it up. Like, and take your losses and take your L and go on about your business. So he still gaming me up. He like, oh, um, he's like, oh, I want my son to see his parents together. We need to raise our kid together. I want my son to get up in the morning and see us together, or whatever the case may be. All the time, it's going over my head. I'm like, in one ear, out the other. I'm like, I'm not listening to you. Like, what? I'm like, no, that's just not this. That's just not what is gonna happen. Like, you're not coming back up in here, or whatever. So he's asking me, make sure I'm at the birth. I'm like, why do I want you at the birth? Why do I want you to see me in pain giving birth to your child, or whatever the case may be, and be fake when I know you hurt me? And so fast forward, I didn't let him come to the baby shower. I didn't let him be at the birth. I sent him papers maybe 3 days after my son was born, and I sent him pictures, and 3 days after my son was born, and he starts calling to check on me, or whatever the case may be. And he like, dang, you couldn't tell me, or whatever the case may be. I'm like, nah, I told you I didn't want you there. And not only did I not have him there, but I decided to give my son my last name because he wasn't there my whole pregnancy. Although I pushed him away, he just was calling, but he didn't make no effort to be there when he said, oh, I'm gonna come see you, come check on you, or whatever the case may be. Never did. Blah blah blah. I had already made it up in my mind that I was gonna have to take care of this child by myself. And so next thing I know, he's like, set up a DNA test for Zachariah. Zachariah has been here almost 2 months, and he has not seen my baby. He's just seen pictures on social media, and the pictures I've seen, I sent him. Him, his mama, nobody has made the attempt to come see my baby, um, and it hurts, but not as much anymore because I had to face myself in this situation and understand that it was me that put me here, and not thinking, and once again mistaking love, trying to find love in all these wrong places. Like, this whole situation taught me a lot about me and what I need to change and what I'm worth and all that other type of stuff. So um hasn't seen my baby. He goes back and forth with claiming him. He just recently asked me, could he see him? I said, you know where I live at. He's thinking it's not wise to come to my house to see my baby. And I'm just like, ain't nobody gonna do nothing to you. Don't nobody care about you. If you want to come see your son, you're welcome to come see your son. Right now, I'm working on forgiving him, and I do, for the most part, I do forgive him. But the fact that he knows that we laid in the bed together and he's denying my son, that piece of me, I just can't get over it. I just can't get over it. Um, he's gave many reasons. You didn't give him my last name. You had him early, which I did have my son 5 weeks early because I was having complications with my blood pressure. So I was induced early or whatever. But he like, I don't know what you was doing before me. Like, completely his whole story changed. He got a new girlfriend. He posting her all over social media and all that other type of stuff. Mind you, he never posted me because he said that it would mess up his money if he posted me. And I'm almost 38 years old, so I didn't think nothing of it. I'm like, you don't gotta post me, like, it's not a big deal. But now he got a girlfriend that is 10 to 15 years younger than him, and she's all over social media. She has even called my phone and asked me would I take a DNA, and I feel like that's not her business, or whatever the case may be. I don't mind a DNA test, although I argue it because of the simple fact, how could you do this to me? Um, he's asking me to set it up. I ain't setting up nothing. You want a DNA test? By all means, you set it up and we will be there. I know he's my son's father. Um, my son looks a lot like me, but he also looks like him. And I am just I'm just upset. I'm so upset when it comes to that area of us being together and having relations and all that other type of stuff, because like I said, he know he was here. We only used condoms one time. We stopped that, or whatever the case may be. So here I am, and here goes this situation, and it was on my heart to tell somebody, because I can't be as hurt about it, because it could have been worse. I could have got AIDS. I could have got a STD. I could have got something that I could not get rid of. But I got blessed beyond measure with Zachariah Israel Smith. Um, Maybe I should have gave him his last name or whatever the case may be, but I just didn't feel like he would be there. I didn't feel like it was a need. And until he shows me anything other than what he's showing me, my son's last name is Smith. Again, it could have been worse. It could have been AIDS. It could have been anything. So this man could have killed me. Like I said, I didn't know him personally. He could have came in my house, raped me, killed me, all kinds of stuff. All the bad things could have happened, but it didn't. I got blessed. So you have to be careful who you encounter. You have to be careful who you let in your space. And you have to be more wise, and you have to know your worth. If you do not know your worth, and if you are looking for love in the wrong places, baby, you will find lust. You will find exactly what you was looking for, but not. I mean, completely the opposite of what you were looking for. And I know God wouldn't put more on me than I can handle. My son is well provided for, but geez, just having to deal. I have 5 kids by one man and another kid by another man, and none of these men love me, like really, really, truly love me. They broke me, and I let it happen. I let them in. So I'm rising above it, and I hope that this story can help somebody. I love you guys. Have a blessed one.